Today we're taking a look at these NBA matches, which are happening on Saturday, January 21st, 2023, and giving your take. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and make sure to watch it till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Also check out our Patreon if you want access our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link in description and comments section below. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comments section below. Toronto Raptors vs Boston Celtics. On Saturday afternoon, the Boston Celtics traveled to Scotiabank Arena for a road matchup with the Toronto Raptors. The Celtics beat the Golden State Warriors 121-118. The Raptors fell 128-126 on the road to the Minnesota Timberwolves. The tip is slated for 5:10 p.m. Eastern Time. Boston opens as a road favorite. Toronto ranks 27th in pace of play entering this contest against the conference-leading Celtics. The Raptors are 5th in offensive rebounding percentage, but they are going up against one of the better defensive rebounding teams in the NBA. Toronto has really struggled from beyond the arc this year, shooting 32.8%, which ranks 29th in the NBA. I can see this one looking like a classic Eastern Conference battle, with both clubs playing tough defense. Our total pick is under the total. The total has gone under in 4 of 5 meetings between these two clubs and 5 of Toronto's last 6 overall. Boston is 5th in defensive rating, and although I expect Toronto to cover the spread, this will be a gritty type of contest. Washington Wizards vs Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic head to Washington to play the Wizards on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Orlando is set to take on New Orleans on Friday night as this is written before that game ends. Washington, meanwhile, is coming off a 116-105 win over the New York Knicks on Wednesday. Orlando is set to host New Orleans on Friday night and will then travel to Washington after the game to play the Wizards on Saturday night. Prior to the back-to-back, the Magic suffered a 119-116 road loss to the Denver Nuggets on Sunday. In the game, Orlando struggled mightily in the first half as the Magic trailed 69-54. Orlando was led by Markelle Fultz, who had 20 points, Franz Wagner had 19, Paolo Banchero recorded 18, and off the bench, Bol Bol had 17 points. With Orlando on a back-to-back and Washington's defense starting to get better, I like the under in this one. The Wizards are 22-21-1 in hitting the under this season, while the Magic are 20-22-2, but on the road, Orlando is 11-9-2 in hitting the under. Both teams struggle to shoot the ball and score as they are both in the middle of the pack. Meanwhile, Washington is playing at a pace of 101.2, which ranks 17th, while the Magic are playing at a pace of 101.4, which ranks 15th, but on no rest, I do expect Orlando to try and slow down the pace. Our total pick is under. Finally, in Washington's last 10 games, the games are averaging 226.1 ppg, while the Magic's last 10 are averaging 229.2 ppg, but as we saw earlier this year, these two offenses don't do well against each other. Cleveland Cavaliers vs Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks head to Cleveland to play the Cavaliers on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Milwaukee is coming off a 130-122 win over the Toronto Raptors on Tuesday, while Cleveland is set to host the Golden State Warriors on Friday, as this is written before that game ends. Cleveland has one of, if not the best defense in the NBA, and on no rest, the Cavs will try and slow down this pace. Cleveland is 24-22 in hitting the under this season, while on no rest the Cavs are 4-2 in hitting the under, while Milwaukee is 22-23 in hitting the under this season. Cleveland, meanwhile, plays at a pace of 98, which is the slowest in the NBA, while ranking 2nd in defensive efficiency. Our total pick is under. The Bucks, meanwhile, are playing at a pace of 101.7, which ranks 14th, while their offensive efficiency ranks 23rd. These two teams have also played 3 times before with the games going for 216 ppg. Cleveland's defense and slow pace will help the under cash here. Atlanta Hawks vs Charlotte Hornets. On Saturday night, the Charlotte Hornets traveled to State Farm Arena for a road matchup with the Atlanta Hawks. The Hornets defeated the Houston Rockets 122-117 in their prior game. The Hawks beat the Dallas Mavericks 130-122. The tip is slated for 7:40 p.m. Eastern Time. Atlanta opens as a heavy home favorite. Atlanta ranks 9th in pace heading into this contest with the lowly Hornets. They are playing their best basketball of the season, winning 4 straight games and getting their center Clint Capella back in the fold. I have no doubt they put up a ton of points on the Hornets. The only issue with trusting the over in this situation is how bad the Hornets are without LaMelo Ball. Our pick is under the total. I anticipate an Atlanta blowout, with coach Nate McMillan potentially benching his starters for the fourth quarter. They dropped 130 on the Mavericks, and they are capable of putting up a huge number, but that is not the case with the Hornets. Minnesota Timberwolves vs Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets will travel to the Target Center on Saturday night to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves in a Western Conference matchup. The Rockets are 15th in the East with a 10-35 record and are on a massive 12-game losing streak as they lost on Wednesday 122-117 to the Charlotte Hornets. The Timberwolves are 8th in the West with a 23-24 record and are coming off a 128-126 home win over the Toronto Raptors on Thursday. This will be the third of 4 games against one another as the T-Wolves won the first 2 games. The defenses as of late have been giving up too many points, as the Rockets are allowing 131.4 points in their last 5 games, while the Timberwolves are giving up 119 points in their previous 4 games. These teams are moving the ball pretty well this season, as Minnesota is 9th in the sport with 101.1 possessions per 48 minutes, while Houston is 17th in the league with 99.5 possessions per 48 minutes. Our pick is over the total. Go with the over in this game as it seems to be the more likely situation. Phoenix Suns vs Indiana Pacers. The Phoenix Suns, 23-23 against the spread, will play host to the Indiana Pacers, 26-20. The Pacers' woes have continued as they have now dropped 5 straight, most recently against the Thunder. The Pacers won the rebound battle 48-42 and had 20 offensive rebounds. It was noticeable the Pacers were without Tyrese Haliburton as Indiana had 24 turnovers. Andrew Nembhard led the Pacers in scoring with 18 points. Isaiah Jackson came off the bench and tallied 11 points and 7 rebounds. The Suns ended their 3-game losing streak, beating Brooklyn at home. Phoenix won the rebound battle 49-34 and held Brooklyn to 2 offensive rebounds. Phoenix had just 5 fast break points. Michael Bridges led the Suns in scoring with 28 points, and DeAndre Ayton had a double-double with 24 points and 14 rebounds. On the season, Indiana is scoring 115.3 points per game, and over their last 5 that numbers has ticked down a bit to 112.2. The Pacers are shooting 45.9% from the floor and have continued to rely on the 3-ball, as they are taking just under 39 attempts per game from distance, 6th in the league. Of those shots, the Pacers have been knocking down 36.5% of their tries, which is right on par with the league average. The Pacers continue to be very good in transition as they rank first in the NBA in fast break points per game, with 18.9 per contest. This has been aided by their ability to come away with nearly 8 steals per game. On the interior, Indiana has been somewhat average scoring in the paint, averaging just over 48 points per contest. Nearly half the shots the Pacers take are coming from distance, and that has also inhibited their inside scoring, as they simply don't work the ball in the paint frequently. While the transition game has been good, turnovers have been a problem for the Pacers. They are bottom 10 in the league, averaging 15.4 turnovers per contest. The Suns have not been too keen on forcing steals this year and only came away with 4 in their last game. The Suns play slower at home, and the Pacers have been slower on the road this season. Phoenix likes to work their offense in the half court, and when they come away with steals, they also don't look to push it up the court. Indiana plays fast when they can force turnovers, but they are also very dependent on the 3-ball, which has shown to have regressive variance of late. Our total pick is under 221.5 points. The Suns should defend the perimeter well in this one, and Indiana has played well on the interior and has waned as a top 3 team in blocks per game as well. The play in this one is the under, which is 7-1 between these two teams in the last 8 in Phoenix. Sacramento Kings vs Philadelphia 76ers. The 76ers are hot as of late, as they have won 4 in a row and 6 of their last 7 games. They are tied with the Milwaukee Bucks in second place in the Eastern Conference, 4.5 games back of the Boston Celtics. The Kings are smoking hot, riding a 6-game winning streak. However, all the teams they have faced in their win streak are under .500. Sacramento sits in third place in the Western Conference, 6 games out of first place. They come into this game as a 3.5-point home underdog, with a total that has not been posted at time of writing. In 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two teams, the total has gone under, and that is the pick I am leaning towards in this game. The Kings played last night and I look for them to a little listless in this game. They will not score big facing a 76ers team that ranks 3rd in the NBA in opponents' points allowed. I also do not look for Philly to put up a high total facing a good Kings defense that has been playing well in their 6-game win streak. Our pick is under the total. This game will be far from a barn burner, which is why the under is the pick for this non-conference affair.